What's up, everyone? Kyle Thomas from Exhorter here, and you are watching CMS TV.
I know we talked about this band, but Primal Fear are back, and they played their first gig with the new lineup.
You mean Primal Fear?
Primal Fear are back.
Who's in the lineup now? I mean,
well, Neeley, since you asked,
yes.
It is Ralph Sheepers on vocals.
All right.
Matt Sinner back from the dead on bass
so
and vocals.
Those two are the staples.
Magnus Carlson is still there on guitars.
All right, so three.
I don't know this guy at all. Thalia, or I think that might be the girl. Thalia Belazeka.
All right.
On guitars, and Andre Hilgers on drums.
All right, so they replaced two members.
Two members, yes.
All right.
Do you think it matters?
Well, I mean, typically the vocalist and the guitarist, as we've always pointed out, seem to dominate the direction or the sound of the band.
Right.
The rhythm section doesn't always seem to matter so much.
Yeah, not really. I mean, it does in this band because Matt Sinner writes most of the songs, I guess.
Right.
You know, Fuego, I have no idea what the name of the Chris Holmes band is, but if you look on Blabbermouth and just search Chris Holmes, it'll pop up. So, best I can do for you. All right, let's check out the new lineup of Primal Fear. And then I'll ask you a question, but let's see what the new lineup sounds like. Here we go. All right, so bottom line, sounds like Primal Fear.
Right. When did they get Lenny Kravitz in the band?
Come on, that's the girl. That's
okay. I thought it was Lenny Kravitz.
Elarica Bremelfausen or whatever her name is. What's her name? I don't even remember what her name was. Her name is Thalia Belazeka.
Okay.
But here's my question. Is it time, and I know I've asked this before, is it time for Primal Fear to call it a day? They have really waned in their. I love them still. So, and to be honest, I am very looking forward to talking to Ralph Sheepers again. He's one of my favorite interviews in general. But album to album, do we care anymore?
Well, again, is anybody buying albums? That's the whole thing. It's just like they made their mark 20 years ago. Has it been 20 years already?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 20 years. So what are they going to do that is going to be like, man, this is the best thing they've ever done, you know? Because they launched into the quote unquote, the melodic hard rock metal scene 20 years ago. And this was when Judas Priest was still not quite Judas Priest yet. You know, they hadn't reconvened, and this was like the answer to the lack of Judas Priest. Because they sounded like Judas Priest.
They did.
And then they sort of branched off and kind of established their own identity and their own sound outside of the comparison to Judas Priest.
Yeah.
And they've done pretty well since then. But is there any reason to record anything new unless you're really gonna do something that kind of differentiates yourself away from anything else? I mean,
well, and they've done that, and those albums all stiffed.
Yeah.
You know, when they did Before the Devil Knows You're Dead,
right,
2009 or whatever, that was a New Religion too. I'm looking at the albums right now. Those two and Seven Seals too. Those were three very different records for them, and no one gave a fuck.
That's my point. So when they branched off and did what maybe Primal Fear does, the comparisons were no longer there, and people, I think people gravitated toward them because they liked the Priest comparison.
Sure.
But then when they no longer sounded like Priest, then people were just like, okay, whatever.
I know I'm like that.
Yeah.
For me, the first three records from them are untouchable.
Right.
Jaws of Death, Nuclear Fire, and the self-titled.
Sure.
Untouchable, great records.
Yeah, because it sounded familiar.
Yeah. Everything after that, though, they did Black Sun. That was a concept record. Don't need that. Devil's Ground. Seven, like I said, Devil's Ground, Seven Seals, New Religion, 16:6, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. These are all mediocre. And I can't even tell you these last 4 or 5. I mean, I've heard them, but I don't remember a single song. So, yeah. I don't know. Again, I don't want any of these bands to go away necessarily. But man, starting to just wonder if they're all just doing it because they don't know what else to do.
Well, again, you're, and I'm going to use a cliche here. You're kind of like a one-trick pony, and now you've sort of like, maxed out your, whatever it is you have to offer. So at this point, if you still want to perform and be a live performing act, you just become that.
Yeah.
You don't go, well, we're pushing the boundaries, man. We got a new lineup and it's really inspired us, and we're just gonna, we're gonna deliver something over the top. And it's like, you kind of made your bones on sounding like Judas Priest. That's what you kind of launched yourself into the into the conscious of people's minds. And you've been around for 20 years or so, and so now what? Where do you go from here?
And I guess there really is nowhere to go from there. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder constantly if I'm just getting so bored with all this stuff that I wish it would all go away. There's a part of me that really thinks that I'm just bored.
Well,
with all of it.
And I agree with the boredom thing. It's just like, so there's nothing new under the sun.
Not of that style of music.
What can we expect from a Primal Fear? What could they bring to the table that they haven't done before? And it's like, oh my God, have you heard this new Primal Fear record? This thing is the bomb.
Yeah.
And
no, it's definitely not happening.
It hasn't happened.
Nope.
So if they want to go play their summer festivals and, bring out their previous hits, success, whatever, good for them. But is anyone clamoring for new music from Primal Fear? I don't think so.
No, and even if they are, they'll forget about it a week later.
And I don't care what band you are, whether you're a Judas Priest or even a Deep Purple or anyone,
DC,
any classic band. Is anybody clamoring for new music?
No, not at all.
They're not going to listen to it anyway. Since you mentioned AC/DC there.
Yeah.
As much as it sounds what you expect from AC/DC, and obviously they're out there on their tour, but I can't name a song from it. But the album that they put out recently, that Power Up,
Yeah.
it was a very strong sounding AC/DC record. Now, is it memorable? No. But is it a AC/DC record that you go, yeah, this sounds like AC/DC? You don't go, wow, this is another Back in Black.
No. Oh, no, you don't do that.
No, you don't do that. It's just like, well, sounds like AC/DC.
That record is almost 5 years old.
I know. But because of the pandemic and all the other shit that's gone on, this is the first time they've actually got to go out and make a tour out of it.
I'm looking at this thing right now. I do not recognize one name of one song.
And again, the few music videos that they actually did for this, it sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's not memorable.
No.
It's not something that you go, oh man, Back in Black. Not one of them.
Not a single one of these. Nope.
But when you hear it, you go, yeah, that sounds pretty good. But you don't sit there and, put it in your memory bank and go, man, that song from that Power Up album, man, that fucking kicks ass.
You listen to one song off of this, and then you go and pull Back in Black or
right, of course,
Power Ridge or one of those records, and you play that instead. You don't.
Can you pull up one song from Power Up?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, because it sounds like AC/DC, but it's not something you just pull out of the archives and go, man, I got to listen to that record again, but you accept it because it sounds familiar. That's it.
All right, well, this is the official video for Shot in the Dark.
All right. See, again, I don't even remember that song.
I don't either. This is Shot in the Dark. It's AC/DC, has a video, so it must be important.
All right.
Here we go. Yeah, it sounds like every AC/DC song since.
It sounds like AC/DC, But is it memorable, or is it like one of the best songs they've ever done, or it cements itself in your mind?
Yeah,
no. But sounds like AC/DC.
Yeah. Hardy, I believe that is Phil Rudd playing drums on this song.
It is. It's everybody except Malcolm.
And it's like Malcolm's son or something.
Because it's his nephew. Yeah, because Malcolm's dead.
Time to cut the power.
But that is the most popular lineup of AC/DC minus Malcolm.
Mm-hmm. It's a good song, but I guarantee you by the morning, almost everybody will not be able to name this song.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's just time for me to quit music altogether. Because I'm telling you, dude, day to day anymore, all I listen to is yacht rock and super intense. Like this week, all week long, all I listened to was this band, Heaven Shall Burn.
Okay.
And it's like really heavy. It's really heavy extreme metal. Listened to it probably 25 times this week.
All right.
Just kept listening. I'm just in that state now, and I hear this stuff, and I'm just like, man, I can't relate to this old people music, even though I'm an old person.
See, when I listen to this and I go, it sounds familiar, and I like it when I hear it, but would I go through the pains of going Spotify, pull AC/DC up, listen to their latest release, which obviously is Power Up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
No.
It doesn't, of course your go-to would be Back in Black, of course.
Yeah. Or any of that, depends on who you are. Like for me, my go-to for AC/DC is always Flick. I love flicking the switch, but
all right.
And I know before Jackal can even hurry up and race it to the chat room, I get it that you like the fucking non-Brian Johnson stuff.
Right,
of course. You're a Bon Scott.
No Brian Johnson, no AC/DC or Bon Scott, no AC/DC, man.
We get it. You're older than us, Jim. We get it. You're ready for a walker and a cane. We got it.
But I give them credit, AC/DC credit for 4 years ago. Holy shit, this thing is 4 years old. I give them credit for sounding like AC/DC. And the thing is that they're playing at the here in Chicago at the United Center, sold out.
Oh yeah,
good for them. God damn it. I'm not going, but good for them.
Yeah, tickets are stupid.
It is ridiculous. A friend of mine, he went into a collective with some other friends, associates and so on. $300 a ticket to have a Loge box thing.
Okay.
Per person.
Right. Oh, wow. That's a bit much.
To go see AC/DC. It's like, well, hey, good on you, man. Go enjoy yourself.
Ooh, push the wrong button.
So anyway, but
I urge you to start checking. I've tried alt country for Hetty. I do not like it. I'm not a big alt voice. I don't like the alternative voices very much. So alt country, not my thing. Thanks for the offer though. But no.